Greetings, YouTube. I'm currently reading a book on economics, and in the book, the author discusses the social Darwinist concept. Essentially, the idea that the survival of the fittest should not only apply to an animal, but to society at large. Now, let's be very clear. Social Darwinism and the phrase the survival of the fittest were never produced by Charles Darwin. They had nothing to do with actual evolutionary theory, not when it was first written, not back in the 30s when it was 20s and 30s when it was a big thing, and not today. Social Darwinism has always been about a political agenda and nothing to do with evolutionary theory. So, Social Darwinism says that a completely free capitalist society ruled by the markets is not only the best policy for the markets and for the economy, but it is the best policy for the society at large, for the actual species of Homo sapiens sapien. That the members of our society that are unable to secure themselves employment, make sure that they have shelter and food and medical coverage, should die and get out of the way because those that succeed don't need them. That the people that fail at the test of social Darwinism have shown that they are unfit. Or, as Ebenezer Scrooge would say, reduce the surplus population. Now, as anyone who has just a modicum or ethics, moral, or compassion will tell you, that is a monstrous idea. It is morally reprehensible. It is disgusting on every conceivable level. But it was a very popular idea at the end of the 19th century and beginning of the 20th, particularly by those people who had a lot of money, and even the irony being here, those that were more than willing to make sure that their children inherited that money, thus showing that they were genetically superior because their parents were wealthy, I guess. Now, that particular meme went out of fashion for quite a few decades, but then it's been put back into vogue. Now, conservative politicians don't call it social Darwinism. In fact, the conservative politicians have been very smart, and they haven't attached any kind of label to it at all. They have diffused the concept successfully into certain seemingly unrelated social policies. Tax cuts, which undermine programs for the poor and the middle class. Going after labor. Reducing the security of the job market, making sure that consumers have no protection, that employees have no protection, that the environment has no protection, and using each one of these situations as a means to make the next step in the process, because by undercutting all these programs, eventually there is a crisis, which is then used for a justification for more cuts and more reductions and more loosening of laws, which of course then precipitates another crisis. And you get the idea. Rinse and repeat until America is turned into a third world country. Until the gilded age of the 19th century robber barons is once again visited upon us. That's social Darwinism, folks. And it's in action in America today. Now, remember, to a social Darwinist, economic inequality isn't a bug. It's a feature. It's a very important element and component of their desire to make sure that the people at the top stay at the top and continue to accumulate more and more and more of the wealth into a smaller and smaller and smaller constituency of citizens. While the rest of the population, the 99 if you will, have nothing. That they are shackled to the land, beholden as peasants to their masters. And you're going to be telling me, oh, you're using hyperbole here, you're overblown, you're exaggerating. Well, no, I'm not. This is the plan that conservative politicians have for America. An American aristocracy, and the rest of us, peasants. Now, there are ways of getting around this that involve changing how elections are done in America, but we're not going to do those things, which is depressing. And the only thing I can do is keep talking and keep voting the way I think I should. It's a small gesture, but it's all I've got. And I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm going to keep hoping that my fellow Americans will do the same. Because we, the people, can turn the tide. We, the people, can make a change and a difference. And can turn America back into a place where the middle class will once again become the engine of our economy. Because that's what it is, folks. Without the middle class, we're all in trouble. So now, let the conservative dogs loose, cry havoc, and let slip the conservatives of war!